Have you ever seen a sandwich that looks like this? Didn't think so. I'll tell you all about it if you keep watching. Welcome to How to Make Dinner. Today we are making some sandwiches. That's hence the sign. I realized that I don't think we've done a sandwich episode of any kind before, so this one will be fun. I wanted to do some of my favorite sandwiches that I tend to like to make in summer. They're also all very, very simple. Like, these sandwiches are so simple that I'm a little bit worried that you guys are gonna complain that they're too simple and you didn't learn anything. But I kind of hope that you can treat it more like a reminder, like, oh yeah, I love that super, super basic sandwich that everyone in the world can make, including my little kid. They're good, they're simple, and they're good. And they're classics for a reason. Question one when you're making sandwiches: to toast or not to toast? For all three of these sandwiches, I'm going to opt for a toasted bread, but only lightly toasted. We don't want it to be hard. We don't want to rip up the roofs of our mouths. We just want a little bit of warmth, and the flavor of browned toasted bread is just so special, and it goes perfectly with all three of these sandwiches. So toast going in the toaster. Sandwich number one is one of my all-time favorite childhood treats, and it is simply a tomato sandwich. It is tomatoes, it is mayonnaise, it's salt, and it's pepper on toasted bread. When I was a kid, I would use like the crappiest sliced bread that came in the grocery store for like, it was probably the cheapest kind, and you know the one, it's really, really, really squishy. I kind of have a soft spot for that bread still, but I don't really tend to buy it anymore. But the bread I'm using today is locally baked, nice sourdough. So it's still kind of soft. It's like a sourdough sandwich bread. So, simple tomato sandwich starts like this. Step one, get the best tomatoes you can find. This is a little bit early for tomato sandwiches. It's only July. I think towards the middle end of August, the tomato sandwiches are gonna be even better because the tomatoes are gonna be better. I'm growing quite a few tomatoes in my front yard, so I'm gonna be eating a lot of these. I just like to take the core out. A lot of people kind of freak out about how to take the core out. I find it easiest after you've cut it in half, instead of like, you know, burrowing it out. And then give them some slices. I always like to cut my tomatoes in half before slicing them, because then they're not rolling around. And I would never include, see this round bit? This is a snack. It does not belong on your sandwich. This is an okay tomato. It's not the best. I'm kind of breaking the rules here. I really tend to use only the best, ripest, deep summer tomatoes possible, but I just wanted to make this video, so I'm cheating. So there's a bunch of tomato. Toast is ready. And you'll see that it's barely got a whisper of color on it. It's just ever so slightly toasted, because I want it soft. I want a little bit of crisp, and I want toast, just that toasted flavor. So on to the bread. I have a knife. I have some of the homemade mayo that we made last week. We're almost out. I actually had to make a backup batch just in case we ran out. And the important thing with mayo is to not be afraid of it. Just put a lot on, edge to edge. Any exposed bits of bread are not welcome here. Both sides, always. I mean, yeah, mayo is pure oil. We don't want to be eating like piles of it every day, but if you're making the ultimate tomato sandwich, you need the right amount of mayo. I think that's about right. On top of the mayo, I'm gonna lay my tomatoes in some kind of semi-artful pattern here. Doesn't really matter. I like a good 2 layers of tomato, especially because this is the only thing that this sandwich is getting. Lots of cracked pepper. Quite a bit. You want the flavor. You want to taste the pepper. And I like flaky salt. Malden is my flaky salt of choice. And again, we're not going to be shy because we need the tomato flavor to really pop. That's it. That is one glorious sandwich. Always cut on a diagonal. I don't know about you. And that's it. Tomato sandwich. It's a beautiful thing. It's so good. Should I take a bite? I think I should. So good. Next up is kind of cheating, like big time cheating, because it's literally the exact same sandwich but with cucumber instead of tomato. So when I was a kid and I was wanting a mayonnaise-y, black peppery sandwich, the hardest question to answer was always, do I go tomato or do I do cucumber? I find the same conundrum when I'm going for like a cream cheese bagel. Like a bit of tomato or a bit of cucumber are both really good. I would never do both together. I guess I'm opinionated, what can I say? So the thing about cucumber with cucumber sandwiches is you want to slice it really thin. The other thing about cucumber for cucumber sandwiches is you want to peel it. I feel like I haven't talked about peeled cucumber in a long time on this channel. I'm a huge fan. I always peel cucumber. It's like peeling away this skin just opens up a world of cucumbery flavor that you didn't even know existed. It's so much more cucumbery tasting when you peel it. And like, yeah, nutrition, but whatever. Okay, so slicing thin, you can do this with a knife. I'm gonna use a mandolin because it's fun and I have it handy. But same kind of thinking around the peeling of the cucumber is the thin slicing of the cucumber, because every slice you do, you're opening up and exposing more surface area of the cuke, and you're just gonna get maximum cucumber flavor that way. And I also just love the feeling of having all those thin slices that you bite through instead of one big chunky thick cucumber slice. What do you think? A little more? Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, look at those. So nice. I'll make this demonstration really brief. Same as before, lots of mayo. Time to break out the backup mayo here. This happens to be the egg mayo that I made, only because I ran out of canned chickpeas. But if you missed last week's mayo video where I made egg mayo and chickpea liquid or aquafaba mayo side by side, and I'm a really big fan of the aquafaba mayo, so go back and watch that if you haven't. Okay, so lots of mayo, lots of cuke, and another good thing about slicing them thin is they kind of grip onto each other, so you don't get that like cucumber slice falling out the back of your sandwich problem. And it is a problem. It's a real issue. It's almost not enough cucumber. This is like a pretty thick layer, but I want a few more slices. Whenever you're using a mandolin, always put it back to 0 before you kind of put it away, just in case anyone else goes to do the dishes and they stumble upon this. You don't want this exposed blade ready to cut people. So when it's on 0, it's much safer. Lots of cuke. Look at all that cuke. Is that overkill? I think not. Tons of pep. Some salt. Crunchy is best. And that's it. Cucumber sandwich complete. Oh, look. That thick layer of thin cucumber is a sight to behold. The last sandwich for today is a little bit more, I'd say, creative than the other two. Doesn't make it better or worse, just makes it more creative. And it is a smashed green pea sandwich. I have some green frozen peas that I put a little bit of water in the bottom of a pot, brought it to a boil, turned it off, and then ran cold water over them until they were cold again. And then I've just had them in the fridge, drained and ready to go. So they're cold cooked peas. So I had never seen a sandwich like this before, and then I made it and I loved it. So we're gonna make it. So there are no measurements. This is just like making, I don't know, egg salad or tuna salad or smashed chickpea salad sandwich, which I've done a video on before, but it's with green peas. So green peas going into the food processor. And I know that's a bit of an ordeal for some. I used a potato masher on it the first time and I wasn't a huge fan of it. The potato masher didn't break up the peas quite enough, so they were kind of rolling off the sandwich, which I don't want. So I think just a few pulses in a food processor. Yeah. You don't want it to be a paste, you just want them to be kind of busted up a bit. Like that. But they kind of hold together on their own, but not really. So green peas smashed, followed by a little bit of red onion, finely diced. This is completely to taste. I like red onion a lot, especially with something sweet like peas. A little bit of bite from red onion is so nice with peas. And then I like to put in a little bit of lemon zest. Also, my green pea fritter video has been very popular, and somebody commented on it the other day saying that it was the most interesting looking pea recipe that showed up in her search. So I thought, oh, maybe I should do more pea recipes. And I think this one's pretty interesting. Let me know what you think. So a little lemon zest. That was like not a whole lemon because I'd already zested a bit of it before. And then mayo again, just enough to hold it together. It's gonna be green bits in my mayo now because I'm being lazy and not getting a new knife. Not bothered at all. And then a little bit of S&P as well. If I had some fresh mint, I would put that in here as well. I don't, so I'm not. I love mint and peas, especially with a bit of lemon zest. So fresh. So the thing with the peas is you want to make sure that that they're really cold, because otherwise it'll kind of melt the mayonnaise and it'll become runny. And B, you want to make sure that they're pretty dry. And then with the right amount of mayo and the right amount of everything, you kind of just get this mixture. It kind of holds together. Great. I don't need as much mayo this time because this mixture is full of mayo, so I'm just going to do more of a scraping. And I wish I'd thought of it, but it would be really nice to have a sliced up soft-boiled egg in this sandwich too, if you're into that kind of thing. And if you feel like you're missing protein. So just pile on the pea mixture. This amount that I made makes about 2. I didn't tell you any amounts, so you're gonna have to figure that out on your own. Look at that. Maybe a little more? Too much and it'll just kind of like squeak out the sides, but there we go. Looks good. Maybe a little bit more pepper, because I have a hard time not peppering. And I might just squeeze a touch of lemon juice over the top, because why not? All right, I'm gonna use a bread knife for this so I can be more gingerly. Ready? Look at that bright green. If you bring this to a picnic, people will be excited. Here's a question for you. When you bite into a sandwich, do you bite into the middle or the corner first? I think biting into the middle is like, you're a monster if you do that, but I'd love to hear what you do. Mmm. Mmm. New sandwich. Thanks so much for being here today with me making sandwiches. I really hope you like them. I hope you make them. I hope you like this channel enough to subscribe to it. And we'll see you next week. Mmm. Mmm. This is a treat. I kind of want to give you some right now. It's good, isn't it?